There are moments when the mirror stares back at you, and you don't recognize the person standing there. The fire that once roared in your eyes has dimmed to a flicker, and the voice that once shouted, "I can," now whispers, "What's the point?" My friend, that is the moment when destiny quietly knocks, not with triumph but with trial. Because before every great victory, life demands proof of your will to win when you feel like you're losing. You see, anyone can march when the road is smooth and the crowd is cheering. But the world doesn't shape its legends in comfort. It forges them in chaos. The battlefield of greatness is never paved with applause. It is littered with doubt, pain, and invisible wounds that test what you truly believe about yourself. When life closes in, when every step feels heavier than the last, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. Let me tell you something most people will never understand. Losing isn't the opposite of winning. Losing is part of the journey toward it. Every defeat, every disappointment, every sleepless night questioning your worth, they are the chisels that carve the champion within you. The person who learns to fight when the scoreboard says defeat is the one who rewrites the game. But here's the trap most fall into. They measure progress by results instead of resilience. They think success is about winning quickly, not enduring quietly. They forget that every great achiever once stood in that same storm of uncertainty, trembling but refusing to fall. What separates those who rise from those who break isn't luck or talent. It's the refusal to surrender when no one would blame you if you did. And I'll tell you the truth. The world won't clap for you when you're crawling. No one celebrates the invisible hours you spend picking yourself back up. But that's where your victory begins. In those silent, unseen moments when your heart says, "I'm not done yet." Because the universe only rewards one kind of soul, the one that bleeds, bends, and still believes. So when everything inside you screams, "You're losing," I want you to remember something powerful. Losing your balance doesn't mean you've lost your purpose. Falling doesn't mean you're finished. It means life is teaching you how to rise, stronger, wiser, unstoppable. The darkest moments are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to introduce you to the version of yourself that no comfort could ever create. And if you're standing in that darkness right now, lost, tired, uncertain, listen closely. Because the difference between those who break and those who build is decided in one quiet, defiant choice. Do you surrender to the storm, or do you become it? The truth is, most people don't lose because life defeats them. They lose because they convince themselves it's over before the battle is done. The mind surrenders long before the body collapses. The real war isn't outside of you. It's within you. It's between your faith and your fear, your purpose and your pain, your future and your failures. And only one of them deserves to survive. You see, when the world tells you you can't, it's merely echoing the voice of doubt you've allowed to grow too loud. You have to silence it. You must become the guardian of your own belief, because once that belief is broken, nothing, not money, not status, not support, can save you. The greatest power you will ever possess is not in your hands, but in your conviction that your current struggle is only temporary. Every master was once a mess. Every success story was once a story of scars. The difference is they didn't stop turning the page. They understood that pain is the proof of transformation. Diamonds aren't born from comfort. They are born from pressure so intense that lesser stones would shatter. So if you feel crushed right now, take heart. The pressure you're under isn't a punishment. It's your promotion in disguise. But here's what makes it so hard in your lowest moments. No one will see your fight. They'll see your silence and call it weakness. They'll see your struggle and call it failure. Yet, what they can't see is that behind that silence, you're gathering strength. Behind that struggle, you're learning what endurance really means. The most powerful growth happens in the shadows, when no one is watching but your own soul. So how do you win when you feel like you're losing? You shift your focus. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start declaring, "What is this trying to teach me?" Because life doesn't hand out victories, it hides them inside of lessons. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every closed door, it all carries a message. Rise higher than this. You must refuse to let temporary pain destroy permanent purpose. That means fighting one more round when your arms are shaking. It means believing one more day when your hope feels thin. It means speaking life into yourself when the world gives you nothing but silence. This is not the time to quit. It's the time to fortify. Because, my friend, the moment you think you're losing may be the exact moment life is preparing to turn the tide in your favor. The storm that looks like it's ending you might be the very one clearing the path for your next beginning. But the question remains, when the world grows quiet and your heart whispers doubt, will you still have the courage to fight for the vision no one else can see but you? There comes a point in every struggle when your greatest enemy is not failure, it's fatigue. The weight of endless effort, the exhaustion of unseen progress, the feeling that you're giving everything and receiving nothing in return. That's the moment when most people walk away. They mistake exhaustion for the end, when in truth it's the threshold of transformation. The breaking point is not the end of your journey, it's the beginning of your rebirth. When you feel you have nothing left, you are standing at the doorway to your next evolution. Because growth does not happen in comfort, it happens in chaos. The mind expands when stretched by pain. The spirit deepens when it's forced to find meaning in struggle. The heart grows stronger only after it's been broken and rebuilt. You are not failing, you are being refined into someone unshackable. Think about it. A seed must crack open before it grows. A sword must endure fire before it shines. A diamond must be crushed before it gleams. So why do you believe that you should rise without resistance? The universe doesn't build warriors through ease, it builds them through endurance. And every sleepless night, every tear shed in silence, every I can't you overcome, those are not losses. Those are the bricks of your future strength. But here's what separates the winners from the wanderers. Winners understand that pain is not permanent. They use it as fuel. They refuse to let it define them. They wake up even when they don't feel like it. They push forward even when they don't see results. They understand that the darkest hour isn't proof of defeat. It's the birthplace of destiny. You cannot see the stars without darkness. And sometimes your own life must go dark before you see what truly matters. Your resilience, your faith, your inner fire. When everything external is stripped away, all that remains is your essence. That's where your true power lies, not in your success, but in your ability to rebuild after being shattered. And perhaps that's why you feel like you're losing right now. Because life is removing everything that was never meant to stay. It's pulling away the illusions, the false comforts, the easy paths, forcing you to depend on the one thing that never fails, your own will to rise. The struggle you're facing isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to show you what you're made of. So, the next time you feel like you're breaking, don't ask, why me? Ask, what strength is being born through me right now? Because every storm you survive adds a new layer of courage to your soul. Every fall you rise from builds an invisible crown of strength on your head. But here's the truth few dare to accept: it's not enough to survive. You must decide to conquer. And that decision, that unshakable, unbreakable commitment, begins with one sacred act of courage. The moment you choose to believe again, even when nothing around you gives you a reason to. Belief, that single, invisible force that separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. It is not something you wait for. It's something you create in the furnace of adversity. When you feel like you're losing, belief is the hand that pulls you back from the edge, the whisper that says, get up. You are not made to quit here. Every great victory begins with a decision to believe when logic says it's impossible. But belief without action is only a dream, and action without belief is only motion. To win when you feel like you're losing, you must unite both, faith and movement, conviction and consistency. You cannot wait for motivation, you must generate it. You cannot wait for the perfect moment, you must forge it out of the imperfect ones. Success doesn't arrive when you're ready, it arrives when you decide to stop retreating. The reason most people never break through is because they wait for certainty before they act. They want guarantees before they risk. But champions understand that certainty is a luxury earned after the leap, not before it. Faith is jumping with no promise of wings, and discovering mid-air that you had them all along. The greatest victories are born in the moments when everything looks lost, but the heart still dares to move forward. You may not see progress today. You may not feel strong right now. But every time you choose not to give up, you are rewriting your future. Every silent prayer, every painful step, every small act of persistence, it all compounds into momentum. The climb feels endless because you are getting closer to the summit, and the air always feels thinner when you're about to reach the top. Understand this: life will test your patience, your persistence, and your perception. It will ask you, do you still believe? 1,000 times before it gives you a reason to. And when it does, you must answer not with words but with endurance. You must show life that you are not easily broken, that you are made of something deeper than circumstance, something eternal, unshakable, divine. Because here's the truth: no one remembers the person who almost made it. The world celebrates those who kept walking through the storm, those who turned their pain into purpose and their wounds into wisdom. You were not meant to be ordinary. You were meant to defy the odds that tried to destroy you. You were meant to be the proof that perseverance is stronger than fate. So if you are still standing, weary, scarred, uncertain, understand this: you are already winning. Because the hardest part of the battle was never the mountain. It was refusing to turn back when you couldn't see the summit. You've made it through the part that breaks most people. Now, only one step remains, the final awakening that transforms endurance into destiny. And that awakening begins the moment you stop asking how long and start declaring, I'm not leaving until I win. You see, the moment you make that declaration, I'm not leaving until I win, something powerful happens inside you. The universe takes notice. The winds of resistance begin to shift. Because when a soul refuses to quit, when it decides that defeat is no longer an option, life itself must bend to make way for that kind of will. The world doesn't move for the timid, it moves for the determined. Every struggle you've faced, every heartbreak that nearly broke you, every season of silence, they weren't signs of failure. They were the foundations of your strength. You've walked through fire and didn't burn. You've carried burdens that should have crushed you. Yet here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still becoming. You've already proven that you can survive. Now it's time to conquer. But let me be clear. Winning when you feel like you're losing isn't about trophies or applause. It's about mastery. Over fear, over failure, over yourself. It's about standing in the ashes of your past and saying, "This is not where my story ends." It's about learning that pain is not punishment, it's the price of power. And every time you refuse to give up, you were buying a piece of the life you were born to leave. You must remember, the greatest victories often arrive disguised as ordinary days. You might wake up tomorrow and feel the same, but inside you everything has changed. You've developed the resilience that no storm can shake. You've gained the strength to walk through rejection and keep your head high. You've discovered that the most dangerous weapon in the world is a heart that refuses to die. And now the choice is yours. You can keep looking at the scoreboard and say, "I'm losing," or you can stand up, tighten your fists, and declare, "The game isn't over until I win," because that's the truth. It's never over until you decide it is. Your defeat is not defined by the outcome, but by the moment you stop believing you can change it. Every breath you take is another opportunity to rise, rebuild, and reignite. So today, I challenge you not to chase comfort, but to chase greatness. Not to pray for an easy road, but for the strength to walk the hard one. Not to ask, "When will it be my turn?" but to proclaim, "My time begins now." You were not created to crawl through life in fear of losing. You were created to rise through loss, to roar through pain, to transform every setback into a step toward your destiny. Because the ones who truly win are not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who stand up every single time, with eyes still burning and hearts still unbroken. So rise, warrior. The storm was never sent to drown you. It was sent to reveal that you were born to walk on waves. Now go and win like you've already survived the war.